The carnivore diet is helping tens of thousands of people, if not more, lose fat that they never thought they could burn, reverse chronic medical conditions that they thought they were stuck with for life. So if that sounds good to you, this video is going to help you understand how to do a carnivore diet properly and not make these 15 common mistakes that most people make when they're first getting started. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with 20 years of clinical experience, and that's what this video is about. Now, the carnivore diet is the ultimate low-carb diet. It is a subset of a ketogenic diet. Most people's ketogenic diet limits total carbohydrates to 20 total grams a day or under. The carnivore diet turns down your carbohydrate intake knob as far down as you can possibly take it. And it also removes all of the anti-nutrients and plant toxins that many people are sensitive to, allergic to, or actually react quite violently to, and they don't even have a clue. So let's get into the 15 most common carnivore diet mistakes. I tried to be as comprehensive in this video as possible. The last mistake is a little bit controversial, and I hope it doesn't offend anyone. Now, let's get into this. Number one is forgetting that seafood, eggs, and butter are carnivore. So many people think, oh, it's just red meat. It's just steak. It's just ground meat. That's what carnivore is. If something is a part of an animal, was a part of an animal, or it is a product produced by an animal, it is technically carnivore. A lot of people say honey is carnivore because it's produced by an animal. Honey is bee vomit. So I don't recommend you eat the vomit of any animal, including honey. And honey is also super high in carbohydrates, so that pretty much cancels it out from this ultra low carb way of eating. The eggs and the butter, that'll come in very handy in later mistakes that people make about the carnivore diet. Number two is eating too lean of a diet. Many of us come to this way of eating with the mantra of avoid fat at all costs. Eating fat will make you fat. Those are just not true, but you may have that in your subconscious. So you may tend to unconsciously pick leaner cuts of meat for your carnivore diet. Not only is it absolutely unnecessary, it can be quite detrimental to your progress and to your success. When you're eating a carnivore diet, you're not burning carbohydrates as fuel. You're not burning sugar because you're not eating any. Now, your liver can still produce some, which is perfectly normal and actually a good thing, but you're not getting the huge amount of sugar that most people get in their diet, so you are forced to burn fat as fuel. Now, if you have a lot of stored fat, that's actually the fat you want to burn. But as you're starting carnivore and as you're transitioning, and then as you're doing weight maintenance after you've lost any excess fat that you may need to lose, you need to eat, I recommend a 2-to-1 ratio of fat to protein by ounces or by grams of the thing you're about to eat. And that's where the yolks and the butter, so a lot of people can't afford to buy grass-fed, grass-finished, panda massaged, $22 a pound meat. But you don't have to. You can eat the best meat you can afford, and if that's the cheapest meat in the market, that's okay. Don't worry, you can still do carnivore. But you probably can afford to add pastured eggs and pastured butter to that meat. And so by adding pastured egg yolks, whether they're chicken, duck, goose, it doesn't matter. It can even be robin, quail, dove, or hummingbird, but I would recommend sticking with the chicken, goose, and duck eggs because they're easier to crack, easier to eat, easier to find. But when you add a pastured yolk, you're adding a ton of fat because egg yolks have about a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. And so that's raising your fat to protein ratio of the meat that you're eating. Even a fatty meat like a fatty ribeye or 70-30 ground beef still needs to have some fat added to it. And so you might cook that in bacon grease or beef tallow. So you're adding pure fat to the leaner cut of meat. You might add some pastured yolks to that. You might add some pastured butter to that. You don't want to eat too lean on carnivore.